Welcome to Best Wellness Interviews, where I interview successful people who share strategies and their attitudes around wellness. And I'm Kristine Best, I'm your host. Today I have with us David Wolverton. Welcome to Best Wellness Interviews, David.
I have been looking forward to this, Kristine, for a long time. I'm really excited to be with you and your viewers today.
Thank you very much for being here. I'm excited too, because you have some interesting things that we're going to talk about. So, first of all, I would love it if you would introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what makes you tick, what you love to do for work, and share that with our viewers.
Okay, I'm David Wolverton. I'm originally from the United States, immigrated to Australia in '82, spent 2.5 years in a place called Mackay, Queensland, came down to Adelaide. I'm a mindset mastery coach. I help people with their stinking thinking. Another way of putting it is I help unlock clarity and confidence. And I don't want to ramble on too much, so stop me when you're ready. Or how about this? I'll just stop and you ask questions.
Oh, no, I don't want to just do that. Is there anything else you wanted to say about, um, I don't know, just what is special about what you do?
I get the honor and the privilege of seeing people that are stuck, that don't know the right way forward, and seeing that light, that aha light go ting. And we talked about that when we were in Copacabana on the Central Coast. For me, there's no greater thrill than seeing somebody who's broken and being an insignificant part of bringing them into healing, wholeness, and wellness.
It's rewarding for you, I take it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I get that. I certainly get that. Um, so what's your special area of specialty? Is it one-on-one, or do you work with groups of people?
That's a great question. I do a little bit of everything. I do. I suppose my speciality would be the new book which I've written, or I should say, guided workbook, because it's not a book that you just read from page to page. It's something that we work on together. But I also do one-to-ones and keynotes and work groups, as well as personal one-on-one counseling over Zoom. I do a little bit of everything, but this is the one that I'm excited about. I really am excited about that one. It's a relatively new thing. I'm working on the next one, which is proactive mindset mastery, which is simply put, rather than being reactive where something happens and you're like, oh, the sky's falling, you're putting things into place to make sure that the fire, the disaster, the whatever happens in the first place. Usually that's through processes and procedures. But when you get stuck in that mindset, it helps to have somebody to knock you out of it, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah, having someone to guide you along a little. Most people respond really well to that kind of help. And as a coach, you don't necessarily tell people what to do.
Oh, absolutely not.
No,
No.
yeah, it's about getting them to tap into their own resources.
Well, I use a bunch of sciences which are peer reviewed. I'm absolutely against pseudoscience. So I use a combination of neuroscience, cognitive behavioral therapy, cognitive psychology, neurolinguistics, and intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. But yeah, so it's all peer reviewed science, and it's not that I'm some kind of genius. I didn't write any of this stuff, but I'm able to read white papers written way up here, drag them down where the average human being can understand them. And what I am an expert in is coming up with training programs to implement those things.
Very good. So you work with industry
I work
or
with
corporates.
Uh, not just corporates. I have, in the past 12 months, worked with a psychologist, high school principal, activists, sports stars, executives, small, medium enterprise, and solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, actors, students, supermodels, tradesmen, evangelists, one evangelist, and quite a few franchise owners. So I'm not just, because it's to do with the way that a person sees the world, hears what the world is saying, and understands what's going on, and then speaks because of all of these things combined, I can work with anyone. It doesn't make any difference because everyone has issues that they need to resolve when it comes to the way that they see things.
Yeah, it's just changing their perspective, how they see it, reframing it, and doing a
I
few things.
love that word. That's my favorite word, reframing, right there. Hole in
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
On a par of six. That was impressive.
It's all about how you see things, and
Yeah.
um, when things go wrong, people just go, "Oh, it's doom and gloom." But if you look at it in a positive way and think, "Well, what's the solution, or how can I get out of?" It's all about how you because that affects your hormones and creates a whole lot less stress if you look at it that way, right?
You're absolutely right. And the thing that shapes your reality more than anything else is this and this. And if you have these two things in alignment, then you're going
That's
to
it.
hear what's going on correctly. You're going to see what's going on correctly. You'll process what's going on correctly, and you'll speak. When you have all that in a row, the right things are going to start happening, and it'll almost be like magic, but it's not. It's just that you shifted the way that you see reality.
Where you connect some dots, and
Yeah.
when you connect the dots, you can change.
Absolutely. And that's what thrills me more than anything else, and why I get up in the morning. I like to be an insignificant because they do the work. It's them that
That's right.
the change. I'm
Yep,
just guiding. That's all I'm doing. And oh, I love it. We talked about that also when we were in Copacabana.
we did. That was an actual very, very good conversation that day.
That was one of the best days. It was the best and the worst day. That was the day that I suffered
Oh,
an
yeah.
injury. But hey, I'd go through it again and again and again to have awesome people like yourself in my life. I can't tell you how much value that added to me. I absolutely enjoyed every second. We were only supposed to talk for an hour, and we're still talking
Two
about
hours
two.
we
And
spoke
I could
for.
have gone for 3 or 4 if I didn't have other things to do.
Yeah, well, it was a very interesting conversation. It was fun, and yeah, I'd do it again. No worries. So, David,
Yes.
tell me a little about, have you had any health challenges in your life?
Absolutely. I don't know where to start. Let me just quickly summarize them because I know that this isn't a 15-hour podcast, and it takes me an hour just to say hello. That's the heritage of coming from the United States, I guess. We're gas bags. We like to talk.
Well,
Um,
it's really good to know that somebody else has had health conditions because people think, oh, I'm the only one. And because people don't want to talk about stuff that's happened to them, right?
Yeah, that's true
So,
because
so,
they have this pride that makes no sense to me. Okay, so in
so
the very beginning, I was born with what's called a club foot, had to have surgery for that. And my mother had to massage my feet to encourage them to regrow, reform, whatever the right word is, to being able to run and skip and jump, which I can do. I was never a sprinter, but wow, you had trouble beating me in a marathon. I used to race the school bus. I'm rambling. Okay. And on top of that, I suffered a lazy eye. And if you pay close attention when I'm tired, there's a huge disparity between one eye being open, the one that was not operated on, and the one that was. The eyelid was shortened because I used to go around like this to be able to see what was going on when I was really young. And also, I suffered a horrendous stutter, which was a confidence thing. And thank goodness I had a principal who was willing to say, you know what, David, what we're going to do is we're going to let you out of the classes you're excelling in. You go down to the year ones and you read them stories. Well, to you, that probably sounds like nothing, but to me, it was like, and if it
it was a
weren't
big thing. Yeah, it is a
if it
big thing.
weren't for that, and of course, first year high school students are very gracious. They're very supportive. They're very they don't mock and ridicule you the way that
Young kids, yes,
older, yeah, young
yeah,
kids.
that's
And,
right.
and so I was so blessed, and I don't stutter now unless I'm really nervous. or whatever. So yes, I have had quite a lot of health problems, not mentioning the one that I've got right now, which is
Oh
the
yeah, let's talk about
depressed
that one
tibial.
because that is monumental.
Yeah. Uh,
That is very monumental
and,
because, yeah, go on,
oh,
you
I was just
share it.
going to say, everybody that I've spoken to says that's the rarest break that you can suffer. It's like one in 100 million or something psychotic like that.
Oh yeah, it's a very unusual break. So yes, you broke part of your knee
It's
joint.
called a depressed tibial plateau fracture. So
Yeah,
basically, what happened is that the tibia smashed up into the fibia and shattered that
the
plateau.
femur into the
Oh,
femur.
I beg your pardon. You're absolutely right. Sorry, I'm not a doctor.
No, that's okay. I had to just think about that for a moment. So you've got your tibia and your fibula. And the fibula is the little bone on the outside. The tibia is the main one that connects with or articulates with the femur. So it jammed up in there and it broke the tibial plateau.
Yes,
And so
uh,
you had to have a plate put in, right?
quite a significant one. Have you seen the X-rays?
I have.
Yeah, and
Yes.
they sliced and diced me like a turkey for Thanksgiving. Like I knew that I was going to have a plate put in. I thought that was just going to be around the kneecap, but the scar, actually, the incision, excuse me, actually goes all the way down nearly to my foot.
Oh, wow. Wow.
You've seen those photos, haven't you? Hey, if
Yeah, but I
you're
didn't
watching,
realize.
it's all on my LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, I saw the X-rays, but I didn't realize the incision was going to be that long.
Yeah, the photos are also on my LinkedIn as well as the X-rays.
Oh, I don't know that I saw all the photos. No.
I post quite a lot, so I'm not
Yeah.
surprised you didn't see them.
Yeah, I'm not on there all the
Oh,
time
thank you
either.
so
So
much. My owner has just come in, and so here as my wife. Here are the plate. Here's the plate that's been put in. Did you also bring a photo of the incision? No, I guess I got that. I got that on my phone. I can really quickly share that while you ask your next.
if you can, if you can, yeah,
Sure.
sure.
Ask your next question while I'm bringing that up.
Okay, so when that first happened, you were staying with a. Oh, I might have seen that one. Yes, I did see that. Didn't realize it was quite so bad, but yes. So you were staying with a friend because you're from Adelaide, right? And you were up in New South Wales. You'd been on a podcast in Sydney, and then you were staying with a friend at Copacabana, and you slipped on the driveway, and that's how that happened.
I,
And you would have been in considerable pain.
I don't think I've got a. I used to think I had a really strong
Tolerance to pain.
tolerance to pain. Not true.
Mm.
I screamed, and yeah, I made the best out of it. But the initial impact was such that. So basically, the walkway is even, 100% even, and then his driveway is like on a 65, 70-degree angle, because he lives on the side of a mountain. And to get into his driveway, sorry, his garage, it's about roughly 65. So all of my weight went on my left foot before my back or my bottom or my hands or any other part of my body touched. All of my weight, 111 kilos at the time, went on my left leg, and that's how the impact happened.
Mm. And then you had to catch a plane home. That journey must have been pretty challenging
Well,
because,
originally Ben, that's my friend I was staying with in Copacabana Beach.
mm,
Ben is has a history of being a registered nurse, and he's like, well, I think what you've done, because obviously he didn't have an X-ray machine or an MRI or a CT
yeah,
scanner. I think what you've done is you've pulled ligaments and or tendons, and so we iced it, and but it was agonizing going up and down his stairs to go to the bedroom that I was staying in, and or to go to the lavatory, et cetera, et cetera. He ended up driving me because I had a bag as well as carry on. He ended up driving me and forking out like $60 of tolls to get me to Mascot, a domestic airport at Mascot. And they canceled my flight. So I had to, oh, that was another thing. I'm sorry, make this quick because I know that I don't want to ramble.
No,
Um,
we want to talk about the health stuff mainly, but yeah, but
oh, okay. So
the
the
logistics of
short
getting
version
home.
is that it was a nightmare, and anyone who's interested in the full story can hit me up on my LinkedIn.
Yeah. So, but you were in pain the whole time. I remember you talking about that. And so then you had the X-ray that revealed this massive problem. And then you had an operation.
I did. So, Dr. Bobby Pandit is one of the leading orthopedic surgeons in South Australia, perhaps more, but I know for South Australia. And yeah, he did a brilliant job. Absolutely brilliant job.
Okay. And so what that meant was you were in hospital for how long? A week or something
Let
like
me
that?
see. No, 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 not that much. I'm blessed that I have private cover. Otherwise, who knows when the surgery would have been done.
Mm.
It was 2 nights and 1 day. They charged over $11,000 for that, but thankfully I only had to pay the $500 excess. So 2 and a bit days. And then I was allowed to go home. I had a fall here that made me need to have another x-ray to make sure I hadn't undone Dr. Pandit's work. And then a week and a half later, I had a second fall. So
Oh,
yeah,
another one. Oh, I
yeah,
didn't
I
know
had
about that one.
uh,
Oh dear.
yeah, it's been a lot of fun. But fortunately, neither one did damage to the work. So I now
Mm.
have less than 2 weeks to go, and I can start my physio. I'm really excited
And you
about.
could start to walk again.
Yeah, yeah. I can't put any weight at all on my left leg.
Mm. So tell me or tell our viewers how long that was that you had to be in bed.
Every day, I spend an average of 20 plus hours a day in bed because I'm sitting here at my desk at the moment, and I'm only allowed to have the brace set at 30 degrees of movement. And so because of that angle, and because some weight is not enough to do damage, is resting on the ground, I'm in agony. So I'm
Mm.
after this podcast, I'm definitely going to have to go back to bed.
Wow. So how many days were you incapacitated in bed? You
Be,
know, confined to bed.
before the surgery, or
No, after the surgery, when you came home. It's been
it's
it's been some weeks, hasn't it?
4 weeks and 1 day today, and I
There
have
you
to
go.
be off my feet for 6 weeks. So that's why I said I have less than 2 weeks to go, and then my physio can start. And I don't know what that's going to look like. They don't know how long it's going to be before I can walk normally again because I'm 57 years young. Obviously, it's not going to be as fast a recovery as a 19-year-old.
No, that's right. But the give the body the right circumstances, it heals itself very well.
Agreed.
It's good at that. That's what its job is.
Yeah.
So tell me, I'd like to know how, because you're a mindset coach.
Yes, I am. I call myself a mindset mastery coach, but we're talking semantics.
Yeah.
Basically, I deal with an abundance mindset, which is scientifically valid,
And a growth mindset.
growth mindset, et cetera, et cetera. Like I said, I
Yep.
don't deal in the pseudoscience. And just because you put mindset into a word that precedes it or follows it, doesn't mean that it's science. Like, for example, there's no such thing as money mindset. That's just some
Yeah. No, no, but it's positivity, right? And you had to then practice what you preach.
Absolutely. And
And so it would have been a challenge. It would
what
have
would
been a
my
big
value
challenge.
be as a human if I didn't practice what I preach? There's a lot of people out there that, I'm an expert at this and I'm an expert at that, but then they get faced in that circumstance and they fall apart. I've been posting, I've been using that 3 to 4 hours a day to create posts on mindset mastery. I've been trying as hard as networking. I've been doing so much networking, some of it from bed. But at the end of the day, and of course, cheering up and encouraging people who are worse off than I am, like our friend Donna.
Yes, who's also been in hospital for about a month.
Yeah.
So, but I want to know, how did you actually feel when you were confined to bed, when you couldn't do all the things that you would normally do. You're a man, you're supposed to be the provider and doing things around the house, and suddenly you can't do that. So you're relegated to a different position. And you have to accept help. You have to accept that people are waiting on you, and it doesn't always sit right when you are used to being, you know, able-bodied and all and capable. So, that can be a challenge to people. So, how did you deal with it?
Okay.
Did you feel that yourself?
Of course,
Okay.
at the end of the day, mastering your mindset doesn't mean living in some kind of fantasy world where everything is, roses and sunshine. That's not
Mhm.
reality. And
That's
anyone
right.
who tells you that that's reality hasn't lived. That's probably the best way to put it. They're in a bubble somewhere, and mommy and daddy are paying for them living in the basement. To be honest with you, it was devastating. It is devastating as a male. My poor wife, I'm going to elect her for sainthood. She is a full-time employee. She's a full-time carer now, and she cooks, she cleans, she does everything. She does the cooking, she does the shopping, and you know what I have worked out is that I'm going to spoil her rotten when I'm able to. But to answer more specifically your question, it's all about reframing. You can if life gives you a whole barrel full of lemons, you can complain and you can whinge and you can whine or you can make lemonade. I choose to reframe what could be seen as a negative and look for ways to make it into a positive. That's what I teach, and that's what I am now living right now.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that you're weak or anything because you felt, this is a tough situation and I'm not coping very well with it initially, because everybody gets to that point. And then you think, no, but I don't have to go down there. I can do this instead. And so everybody's going to feel that way at first
I agree
because
100%.
it's horrible. And you have to come to terms to deal with it in a positive way, because the alternative doesn't really help you.
Kristine, it's a choice. That's what I
I
teach,
agree.
and that's what I have just lived in the last 4 weeks. I'm not going to lie to you and say that there haven't been days where I've had tears running down my face because it's not fair. I wanted to do this, I wanted to achieve that, I wanted to work with this person, and
Perfect.
I can't do that. That's the truth. Okay,
Yes,
that
yes.
doesn't make you weak. It
No, it
makes
doesn't.
you real. It
Well,
makes
it
you.
makes you human.
Yeah. And so, but I can either wallow in that or
Mhm.
I can gird myself like a man, pull up my big boy pants and get on with it. And that's what I choose to do.
Yep, perfect. And you can do other things while you couldn't do all those other things that you would physically do. You can network, you can read, you can cheer other people up like Donna. And
Yeah,
and so, there are other alternatives to just wallowing in self-pity.
I
And
agree 100%,
mm.
100%. I have read so many white papers since I've been on home detention, which is what I'm calling it. So many white papers. I've learned so much. I've joined the Harvard Review magazine. I'm now learning things that I didn't know in areas that I didn't know. So,
And you wouldn't have had the opportunity to do that.
no, no way.
Yeah, so
No,
there
no,
are
at
good
least not
things
as
coming out of
much
it.
in a shorter period.
Yeah,
Over a longer period, I would have done it anyway, but I was able to do it in a short period.
yeah,
Some people restrict themselves to bed and they're watching Netflix and Stan and they're doing nothing with their lives.
yeah.
I do that. I'm not going to lie to you, but that's a minority of the time. The
Yep.
majority of the time, I'm still working an 8-hour day. I'm just doing it in
Well,
bed.
you're allowed to have a little bit of entertainment and fun, right? You've got to have some
Have to,
downtime
have to.
and, yeah, and be able to chill. But for the majority of the time, you can't sit there and just think on the
Wallow.
negatives.
You can't wallow.
No, you can't wallow. Not allowed.
Well, I am allowed, but I choose not to.
Uh, Yeah, it'd be a rule in my place. Like if my son was unwell, I'd go, oh, just go and steam your airways and have some lemon juice, and you'll be fine. Like there wasn't the sympathy because you can turn them in. You can, well, if you give them too much, you can turn them into softies. And my son's not a softie.
I think
um,
life is a choice. We all make choices every day, every minute, every hour. We choose to see things the right way or we choose to see things the wrong way. But when we do see things the wrong way, that's not the end of it because you can learn how to reframe.
Change the way you think about it.
Exactly.
That's right.
And that really is the heart, the essence of mindset.
Yeah. So what other things do you do in life? Do you do anything that's greater than you, that in the community or anything like that?
Oh, for 10 years, I was a founding and senior pastor of a Pentecostal church, and that was all about serving the community. You hit on something when you asked me earlier on about service, and that's really that's what's hurt me the most is that I'm what I describe as a producer. I see that there are two people in this world. There are two types of people. There's producers and there's consumers, and you can be a combination of the two. But you're in the majority, one or the other. And most of my life, I've been a producer, and it's been humbling to say the least to be put into the role of a consumer, which is good for me. But
Yeah.
to answer your question, I'm always looking for opportunities. I just don't blow my own trumpet and sing it from the rooftops. And I'll do random acts of charity, buy somebody groceries or whatever. And I won't even tell my wife. Not because I'm hiding anything from her, because I believe that what you do in private, you get rewarded in sorry, what you do in public, you get rewarded for in. I'm confused. What you
No,
do
no, no. It
singing
comes back
your
to
own
you.
praise from the rooftops is rewarded in public.
It comes back to you in different ways. It doesn't necessarily come back straight away. It could be down the
No, that's
track,
fine.
but it's people can call it karma, or you can call it God blessing you. It doesn't really matter. If you do good things, it comes back to you, and you don't have to blow your trumpet, and you don't
One of
have
the
to tell
things
people.
one of the things that I'm so grateful for is that my wife and I were a little bit on the estranged side, if that's the right way of putting it. And this has made us closer than I think we've been in 15 plus years. So sometimes bad things, really bad things happen to good people for good reasons. And often
Well,
they're
that's interesting, isn't it?
disguised.
That's yeah. See, though, there you go. Sometimes you can get on a roll in life, and you get busy in your business, and you actually can neglect your family a little,
Yeah.
and and something like what's happened to you can actually make you stop and realize, oh, I should spend a bit more time with my family. So yeah, I think, and once again, the family could have grumbled and complained and said, look what you've brought on us, but they didn't do that. They didn't do that at all. They pitched in and they helped you and waited on you and they were there for you. And so, you can see how human beings come to the fore in times of difficulty. And you see that with bushfires and floods and humans want to help. And
Couldn't
sometimes maybe you didn't let them help before, but now you're letting them help.
you got me. Can't deny what you just said because that is the truth. And so it's been a great learning curve for me as an individual. And I'd like to believe that in the short to medium and even especially in the long term, my family are going to benefit as a result of this bad thing that happened to a good person.
Hmm. Well, see, that's very interesting. It's interesting how these things come out in an interview because I might not have thought to ask that, but it just the conversation brings out these things, and I like that aspect of it because these are things that people wouldn't normally talk about. And
I try to live my life as an open book, and I did tell you there's no limits. So continue asking whatever you like.
no, no, I think. think I've asked all the things that I particularly wanted to ask you. What have you got? Although I would like to know what you've got in mind for your future. You know, got any plans?
Uh, I'm assuming you're talking about professionally, or are you just talking about generally?
You can tell me what you both or either way. What is the main thing you want to share with us?
Okay, personally, I see myself as doing a lot of travel. I'm 57 years young. I want to be full-time retired at 60, but still working. I don't ever, my dad made the mistake of retiring, as in having no purpose, having no direction, having nothing to do. And he was gone, deceased in 9 months. And I never,
Wow.
ever
Yeah.
want to make that mistake. I'd
No,
like
no.
to, even if it's just working in a soup kitchen, serving other people, I'm good with that, but I need to have something to do every day, a reason to get out of bed. Professionally, oh, and I want to travel. But the business model, the way I've developed it, means that we're talking on Zoom. And as long as I have a good internet connection, would it matter if I was in Turkey or if I was in Switzerland or even if
As
I
long
was
as you could speak the lingo.
well, that's a good point. But that's what I want to be doing with the rest of my life. I want to be traveling, and I want to be managing a CEO rather than doing the day-to-day operations. I want to gradually be handing it off to competent and capable people. Professionally, what I want to be doing more than anything else is finishing the three pillars of the organization and then basically building it to the point where I can say, now I'm working with this psychologist, this clinical psychologist, blah, 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 and get it to the stage where we're breaking out of Australia and England and United States, which is where we primarily are, all as English-speaking nations, and start breaking into German market, Japanese market, Chinese market, because at the end of the day, regardless of the language that you speak, you still need to maximize the way that you see your life and the way you interact with others. So that's
Because
in a
people,
nutshell what I'm aiming for, what I'm working
yeah,
towards.
because there'll always be people who have learned things and they're not good for them. They live by other people's expectations and they're not happy, or they've had a traumatic childhood and so they're carrying that weight. And people don't realize that they can actually move on from that, that they
Sure.
can
But that's an
deal with it.
extreme example. You can be a manager and recognize that you're not working your best life. And so
Mm.
mindset mastery, working with a coach, can take your level of management and go 2, 3, 10, depending on the individual and the effort they're willing to put in. It's not just for people who are completely broken, it's also for me. And I'm practicing what I'm preaching right now, which is going to make me as a human being stronger, as a leader stronger, as a manager stronger, et cetera, et cetera. I think as an individual, we should all be working on our mindset from the day we're born until the day we die.
Yes, because most people do not know themselves well enough.
Well, that's something that I can bring clarity to
Mm.
somebody who's willing to work with me because it's
Yeah, that's right.
not easy work. It's not. But
Mm.
at the end of the day, it's very satisfying when you start recognizing that, okay, I'm my worst enemy and I don't have to be. I can learn not to be.
That's right. Yeah, it's the limiting factor in most situations is yourself. Yeah,
Yep, absolutely.
yep. You're your own worst critic, and you tell yourself, "Oh, I don't think I'm good enough for that," and that's not true.
You're dead right.
Yeah, and as people, and I think most people believe, or they go through stages where they believe those sorts of things that limit themselves. And it usually requires somebody else to unlock that or to
Well,
free you from that.
I was talking to Ted Coffey about this when I was at Rugby Australia. Ted Coffey is the world welterweight champion he's the champion of the world. and he was a guest panelist on the same panel that I was on. And we both agree that regardless of whether it's sports, which is what he's an expert at, or being an entrepreneur like we are, 95% of the fight is here.
Yeah.
Whether you're a boxer, whether you're a cricketer, whether
Yeah.
you're an employer, an employee, makes no student, makes no difference. If you lose the fight here, you lose the fight here. If you win the fight here, you win the fight of life.
You can do anything.
Absolutely.
So, my next question is then, have you got a coach or had a coach?
I have many people in my life which I rely on to guide me into being the best version of myself. Some I don't know directly, like Simon Sinek, when it comes to communication, when it comes to being a business owner, and Vin. There are lots of people that I don't know in real life, but I use YouTube and other sources to attend seminars. I go to physical seminars. I'm constantly learning. And if I stop learning, that I think I'm in danger of starting to die, because when this starts to go, this starts to go.
Well, then you lose your energy, you lose your focus, you lose your goals.
Absolutely. So I
And
think
so,
that, oh, excuse me. I was just going to finish by saying
go
Ted and
on.
I and the rest of the panel all agreed that we all need, you have a wellness coach, you have a dietitian coach, you have, all of us need coaches for whatever it is
A
that
business coach,
exactly. Whatever we're
one
not
for your
getting,
mindset.
you got it. So,
Yeah,
and those are different things, by the way. A business coach doesn't primarily deal with this. They deal
no,
with
business,
business
the
related
function of the
budgets
business.
and
Yeah.
profits and losses.
And
And
then you need a financial coach and
I don't have anything to do with that. I just deal with
no,
this. But
yeah.
yes, so I believe very much that all of us should remain teachable, and that we should have people that know far more than we do. When you start to feel, I know as much as what this person is, it's time to let them go. Not because they're bad, but because they're no longer
No,
pushing you. They're
no.
no longer motivating you to do your best. You should always have somebody who knows at least two times plus more than you do as your coach.
Well, that's what the tennis players do.
Yeah,
They they
exactly.
they get coached by someone to learn specific parts of their game, and when they've got that down pat, they get another coach in to improve another part of
Yeah,
their game. And
exactly.
and it's not that those coaches are bad, but they've just fulfilled their purpose. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and so as you said, we need to um, keep an interest in life and keep learning and growing and being involved in life, because if you don't do that, why should you get out of bed? And like your father, he had no purpose, lost interest and faded away. And that's what a lot of people do. They retire and then they don't know what the heck they're doing, and they soon die. One dies and then the other one dies because their partner's gone and they've got no purpose. My mother went through that period when my dad died. She said, "I've got no purpose now," and I had to work on her to get her out of that mindset. But what I was going to say before was that Einstein said, if you want a happy life, tie it to a goal, because it gives you something to look forward to, a reason to get out of bed, a reason to learn about something, and maybe it is to help other people or whatever that purpose is. But everybody's got their own purpose and they should be living for that.
Short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals are all key aspects of mindset. And I agree with Einstein. I agree with you. I agree with anyone who says that, because it's absolutely true. If you want to orbit the moon, but you're only shooting for orbit of the Earth, what happens if you don't get there? Well, you go above the clouds, and that's not a bad thing. But if you aim for orbiting the moon and you only make it into orbit, how much further ahead are you? So I have outrageous dreams. I have outrageous that make me get up in the morning and say, I got to hustle. I gotta, and that's the wrong word because hustle has negative.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
I
got to get
agree.
going. I've got to get moving. I can't sit here and watch YouTube videos of cats.
No, no,
I got
I'm
to
the
be
same.
working. I got to be networking.
Mm,
I got to push. I got to go because I'm running out of time.
yeah, well, that's right. Same with me. All right. Well, I think this has been a very, very good interview, and I think we've covered a lot of really good stuff and given people enough to chew on, right? I think, yeah, that they can consider how they're going how they're traveling in their own life, and perhaps maybe take a leaf out of your book, and maybe even hire you as their coach.
Well, that'd be awesome. But if they don't, at the end of the day, I just want to say that everybody needs a mindset coach. But it doesn't have to be
Everybody.
me. Somebody might be
Uh,
listening and thinking, "Oh my gosh, I don't like the way he talks. I don't like the way he looks. His head's too shiny. Whatever." Okay, I don't care. What I do care about is that if you want to be, if I want to be, if we want to be the best versions of ourselves, we
That's right.
owe it to ourselves to get some help to do it.
Well, we know that we're not going to resonate with every single person. That's just not possible.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but there'll be a coach for every person, whether it's you or somebody else. It doesn't matter, but go find your coach that you resonate with and excel in your life. Enjoy it, and, do all the things that you are on your bucket list. And the thing that was on your heart that you've wanted to do for a long time. Maybe it's time for you to do that. So that's what these interviews are all about, is improving people's lives, and giving them something to think about, to challenge themselves, to be proactive about their wellness and about doing things in life that are going to give them the joy.
Absolutely.
So is there anything else you would like to leave with our listeners, as a final word?
Okay. There are in this galaxy, there are a million Earth type planets. That's what science has established. And in the galaxy, a million galaxies that are similar or compatible with our galaxy. But in all of that, and perhaps more, only one of you. Wherever it is that you're listening, whoever it is that you are, male, female, whatever, that makes you special. And so you owe it to yourself to live your best life, because unless you believe in reincarnation, and let's face it, who wants to come back to this messy place? You owe it to yourself to live your best life now.
Yeah, well, you get one shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and if you want to contact me, that's my web address, which has my Calendly on there. It has my email address on there, blah, blah. And I have LinkedIn. I don't use Facebook. So if you want to get in
I'll
contact
put
with
I'll
me,
put more details. I'll put more details in the description.
awesome. Kristine, thank you so much for the honor and the privilege of talking to you through your podcast. I hope that it's going to continue to grow in leaps and bounds. And before you know it, you'll be interviewing everybody on Channel 9 or Channel 7 or, Today Tonight or whatever, because you've certainly,
Awesome. That'd be
yeah, yeah,
great.
all of the above.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you very much for being on my show, David. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure is mine. Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone. I'm going to turn this off now. Oh, there it is.